All right, I'm going to call the Justice Committee meeting to order. We have 4 members here, so we have a quorum. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda, item 2A, approval of the minutes from June 4th, 2024 regular meeting, and item 2B, approval of the bills. In regards to the bills, I do have a letter here from our auditor saying that she has reviewed them and that they are in compliance with McLean County Board Code and ordinances. Can I have a motion to approve? Motion by member Schaefer, second by member Bell. Any additions or corrections to the minutes or any questions about the bills? All right, seeing none, we're voting on item 2A, approval of the minutes, and item 2B, approval of the bills. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 3, appearance by members of the public and county employees. Do we have anybody?
Chair Erickson, we've had no requests for this meeting.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is departmental matters. I understand our county coroner will not be here tonight. If you have any questions about her statistics there, you can direct them to her or our county administrator. Next item on the agenda is item 4B, Ron Lewis, Public Defender. We have no items for action. We do have an item for information, the Public Defender's monthly statistics report. Mr. Lewis, anything you'd like to say about that?
No, just the standard monthly report and available for questions if there are any.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we will move on. Next item. 4C. All right, next item is 4C, Will Scanlon. He's not here either, is he? Okay, so if you, Will Scanlon is not here. Next item is item 4D, Suzanne Montoya, Court Services Director. We have no items for action, but we have 3 items for information. We'll start out with item 4D2A, monthly statistics reports. Ms. Montoya, anything you'd like to say about that?
No, just standard monthly statistics. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Does any member have any questions? All right, next item is item 42B, reclassification of court services positions. Anything you'd like to say about that, Ms. Montoya?
As the memo stated, court services has struggled with some transitions in our department, as I think most other departments have within the county. We did lose several employees at the first of this year. And so we did a supplement to our annual plan through the Administrative Office of Illinois Courts, asking if they would reimburse for several of our grant aid positions, which are fully funded, minus the fringe. 59 out of 65 of our employees are funded through the Administrative Office. And they approved that supplement, which then in turn required a reclassification of the court services personnel. So all of the personnel in court services that are sworn probation officers will be raising 1 grade.
Does any member have any questions? Member Bell?
I don't have a question. It's about time. I have noticed that we have, a lot of people are now retiring out, getting at that age to retire out, and the backlog that it causes. I think this is a great thing to keep people to stay in the jobs a little longer.
Does any member have any questions or comments? Member Schaefer?
Thought I had it on. The attrition that we had, did many of those that left go to the state that paid better? Is that part of this process?
Many of the employees that I lost at the first of the year went to State Farm. I lost 9 employees to State Farm because the starting salary was anywhere between $60,000 to $65,000 plus promised bonuses. So most of my employees I've lost have gone to other positions outside of government work.
Does any other member have any questions or comments? All right, next
I-
item
oh,
on.
Sorry. I just wanted
go
to say
ahead,
thank
sorry.
you to the board and to County Administrator Taylor for allowing me this reclassification immediately. I know it was tough to be in a adopted budget in mid-cycle in the middle of the year, but I'm hopeful that I'll be able to retain staff now and we'll be able to stabilize and rebuild. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add? Ms. Montoya?
No, sorry.
All right,
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is item 4E. We have Brad Rigdon here for the McLean County. I assume that's what you're here for. Unless you just wanted to watch. I mean, you know, it's fun to watch this. The McLean County State's Attorney. We have one item for action, item 4E 1A, request approval of a violent crime victims assistance program grant agreement. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by member Abraham, a second by member Schaefer. Mr. Rigdon, would you like to say something about that?
Yes, this is the grant that helps fund the Victim Witness Division within the State's Attorney's Office, and those are important roles that they have the constant interaction with the victims and the witnesses, both as part of the pretrial preparation process, helping coordinate with them services through VCVA and other sorts of things, and also after the conclusion of a case, even dealing with things like the criminal protective orders moving forward.
Does any member have any questions or comments directed to Mr. Rigdon? Member Schaefer.
Thank you. We have a lot of these VOCA grants that come through. Are they all tied together, or are they all different grants specific for, like, the state's attorney? I know we've had ones for Children's Advocacy Center, ones for other things. Are they just one big grant and we're just getting them at different months or different pieces, or do you know how that works?
I believe that this is, that these are specific to the department, and I think this one is specific to the State's Attorney's Office, not part of the a larger group or that sort of thing.
Does any other member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we are voting on item 4E 1A, request approval of a violent crime victims assistance program grant agreement. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is item 4E2. We have the state's attorney's May caseload report. Anything you'd like to say about that, Mr. Rigdon?
No, I have nothing to add, but I can answer questions if there are any.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4F, Don Everhart. He is not here today. If you have any questions about his report, you can direct them to Mr. Everhart or our County Administrator, Cassie Taylor. Next item on the agenda is item 4G, Amber Stensrud, Children's Advocacy Center Interim Director. We have one item for action, item 4G 1A, request approval of a grant agreement between Children's Advocacy Centers of Illinois and McLean County CAC, number 222003. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by member Abraham, a second by member Bell. Would you like to address that?
Sure, thank you. This is for our VOCA grant. The CAC funds 3 staff, 2 advocates, and then our therapist. It covers also the contract for the clinical supervision for the therapist with Sharon Klingman, and then also a small amount on supplies. Total for that grant is $182,636, and then this is an agreement between ourselves and the pass-through, which is the Children's Advocacy Centers of Illinois, our state chapter.
Thank you. Does any member have any questions, comments? All right, seeing none, we're voting on item 4G1A, request approval of a grant agreement. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is an item for information, item 4G2A, monthly statistics, CAC and CASA programs. Ms. Stensrud, would you like to address that?
I don't have anything additional on that, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you, though.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4H, Matt Lane, McLean County Sheriff. We have no items for action, but we do have one item for information. Item 4H2A, Jail Statistic Reports. Sheriff Lane, would you like to address that?
I have nothing to add, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Does any member have any questions or comments? All right, seeing none. We're on under other. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, sir, thank you. Right now, we have 8 unfit to stand trial in our custody. We have 1 not guilty by reason of insanity, and we have 8 more pending fitness. Enrolled in 5 for DOC on parole warrants at this point. So that's all I had, unless you had any questions.
Does any member have any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, thank you, Sheriff Lane. Next item on the agenda is item 4I, Cassie Taylor, County Administrator. We have 4 items for action here. Item 4I-1A, recommend to the Property Committee the approval of a resolution for the July 2nd, 2024 project letting to resurface the west parking lot at the Law and Justice Center, Section 2400-60005RS. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Schaefer, second by Member Abraham. Administrator Taylor, would you like to discuss that?
Certainly, Chair Erickson. So this is a recommendation to the Property Committee to remind the committee in our Chapter 20 code if there is any renovation or repairs to infrastructure at the Law and Justice Center, whether that's the parking lot or the building itself, if it's over $5,000, it comes before this committee for approval before moving on to the Property Committee. And so this action item would be to resurface the section of parking lot on the west parking lot of the Law and Justice Center. It is a 2-part project. The 200 West Front Street parking lot is going to be repaired at the same time, but that is using ARPA funds, so that will be going to Executive Committee. So you'll see a lot of action in the parking lots if, pending this approval on that section of our downtown plaza. Lots of moving cars for a few weeks.
Does any member have any questions? Member Bell?
Yes, we need resurfacing badly in this town. So I'm glad they're doing it while a lot of people are gone and away. Thank you.
Any other member have any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, we're voting on item 4I-1A, recommend to the Property Committee the approval of a resolution. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 4I-1B, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Metcom Fund 04252. And can I have a motion to approve? Have a motion by Member Abraham, a second by Member Schaefer. Administrator Taylor, would you like to address that?
I would, and I would like to correct a Scrivener's error. It is actually Fund 0452. We have an extra number in there, so it's 0452 is the correct fund. And this is a request to amend this year's budget for the CAD project for dispatch with our 911 center. This was something that was approved in a previous fiscal year. The project is well underway, but we need to address this emergency appropriation ordinance in order for the funds to be available in the 2024 budget and ask our partners to pay their share.
Does any member have any questions, comments? All right, seeing none, we are voting on item 4I, 1B, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance for the Metcom Fund, 0452. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 4I1C, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 0450. And can I have a motion to approve? Have a motion by Member Bell, a second by Member Abraham. Administrator Taylor, would you like to discuss that?
Yes, thank you, Chair Erickson. This request is a complement to the last one that was just approved. This would complete the same action for the ETSB fund.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we are voting on item 4I1C, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance for Fund 0450. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 4I1D, request approval of a services agreement with Chestnut Health Systems for an opioid prevention coordinator. And can I have a motion to approve? Have a motion by Member Abraham, a second by Member Bell. Administrator Taylor, would you like to discuss that?
Yes, thank you. And I would note also that Jessica McKnight from the Health Department is here in support of this action item. So this would be utilizing opioid funds that were obtained through the hard work of the State's Attorney's Office for an acceptable use of those funds, and that is to help to fund a prevention coordinator through our local partners, Chestnut.
Does any member have any questions? Member Abraham?
On item 21, it mentions monthly reports for their financial reporting. Where could we see these once they're posted?
So the financial reporting requirements would go to the Health Department, specifically, I believe, Amy Hancock within the Health Department. And so those could be made available. Those aren't typically published, but they can be made available should any board member want to review.
Thank you.
Does any other member have a question? Member Schaefer?
Thank you. On the statistical data that, in the quarterly report, when it says how many number of residents and employees have received training and the number of Nextloan kits distributed, is there any way that we could get a number of how many were actually used with this? I mean, you can distribute a whole lot of kits, but are they actually getting used and having an impact somewhere?
So I will ask Jessica to come up to a microphone, but I think that would be a difficult metric to ascertain if you're putting these kits out into the public. I don't know how we would measure that use.
Ms. McKnight, do you want to address
Sure.
that?
I am unaware of any requirements to report the use, so it would be very difficult for us to get that data. I can definitely check into being part of the drug overdose prevention program. There are requirements for us to report the number of trainings, but then once that naloxone goes out into the community, the public isn't required to report that. But I can do some more investigation to see if there is any data that maybe the state could provide us.
I think that might be helpful because, like I said, you can distribute a kit. You could give me a kit, but, you know, how would you know if I used it, or like I said, if it's having any kind of impact in the community to reverse any overdoses? And actually the numbers, because that may be give us a better indicator of the need and the demand.
Member Bell?
I was in the drugstore and I noticed that you can buy the kits and they're expensive. And I'm glad that you're doing this because, if we can't track it, I understand what you said, Schaefer, but they're expensive for someone to buy, just to get one. And don't they have an expiration date on them too?
They do. I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but it may be about 2 years, 1 or 2 years, and obviously has to be kept within certain temperatures. But yeah, this would provide free access. We get it for free and can distribute then for free.
Member Schaefer?
Kind of goes back to some of my other stuff, but one of the things it also says is to perform vending machine inventory management. Are we going to get any kind of reporting on where vending machines are being used a lot or not at all and maybe need to be moved or that kind of thing?
Yeah, that would be definitely some of the data that we're going to look at is, how often we need to refill vending machines. So that would be data of how used they are. But yeah, that would be some data that we would be looking for.
And is where the location of these vending machines going to be communicated to the public during these trainings?
It definitely can be, yes.
Does any other member have any comments or questions? All right, seeing none, we're voting on, Ms. McKnight, anything else you want to add, I guess? All right, thank you. We will be voting on item 4I1D, request approval of a services agreement with Chestnut Health Systems for an opioid prevention coordinator. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Last item on the agenda is item 4I2, items for information. Administrator Taylor, anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I will be bringing an additional item that I will submit under separate cover to this committee. It will need to go to stand up this month. I have been in communication with Chair Erickson, who does approve of it going to stand up, so we'll have something to submit then.
All right, we're moving on to other business. Anything else, I guess I should ask?
Nothing else
Is that
from me.
it?
Thank you.
All right, good. Next item is other business and communication. Anything that any member would like to say? Member Bell?
I just want everyone to have a safe 4th of July. COVID's gone, at least I think so. And I just want everyone to be safe and be able to make it back here and start all over again.
Does any other member have anything they'd like to say or add? All right, our next meeting will be on August 6, 2024, and we are adjourned. Thank you.